Former Grand Falls Windsor Town councillor sentenced to 22 months in jail for sexual assaults has been released from custody pending the outcome of his appeal. Barry Oak was brought into the Court of Appeal in St. John's this morning, just 3 days after a judge in Gander ignored a joint submission on sentence by the Crown and defense and imposed a harsher penalty. And today he fared better. The Court of Appeal judge agreed with the defense that Mr. Oak should be released pending the outcome of his appeal. The prosecutor did not object. Mr. Oak pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting 4 boys. In Gander, the prosecutor and defender asked for 14 months of house arrest, but Mr. Oak was sent to jail for 22 months. Among his release conditions, Mr. Oak must report to police weekly, abstain from alcohol, and remain away from the 4 victims. He's not permitted to be in the presence of anyone under the age of 18, unless in the presence of another adult. After the hearing, the lawyer said that joint submissions play an important role in the justice system, and the defense says, despite public opinion, the sentence requested was the proper one.
The RNC have issued a warning to the public tonight about the release of a man they fear could be a risk to the community. Hector Gesso, a man with a violent history, is set to be released from custody tomorrow. Mr. Gesso was found guilty and sentenced for an assault on a woman earlier this year. But according to police, he's now said to be released from custody. They say they're warning the public due to his violent past, and they are concerned he may be a risk to the community. Sounds like a threat, yeah. Mr. Gesso has twice been convicted of rape and also carries a conviction for robbery against his own grandmother. At the time of his last sentencing, the judge felt there was little hope for rehabilitation, given Mr. Gesso's violent past and his age. According to police, Mr. Gesso will be released on Friday.
Mr. Mann has already pleaded guilty to assault on the prison guards for spitting at them that night.
That led police to file 21 charges. Through his lawyer, Mr. Wareham told the court he's been battling a drug addiction for a number of years. That led him to commit the crimes. The court also heard that Mr. Wareham is currently undergoing treatment. Judge Gorman called Mr. Wareham's crime spree problematic and sentenced him to 26 months in jail. But Mr. Wareham's dealings with the courts are far from over. He's scheduled to return to provincial court in February of next year to answer to 7 charges from 2 other incidents.
Corner Brook woman facing numerous charges after a tense standoff in that community has been freed after a psychiatric assessment. 40-year-old Sherry Lorraine Daly of Corner Brook facing a total of 8 charges after she was arrested by police late last month following a report that a woman was seen waving a gun on a Corner Brook street. When police responded to the call, Daly allegedly ran into a nearby nightclub and barred herself into a storage room, refusing to come out. After a brief standoff, 3 Royal Newfoundland Constabulary officers were able to gain access to the room and to use pepper spray to overpower Daly. After taking her into custody, it was discovered that the weapon in question was an air pistol. At provincial court in Corner Brook today, the accused was released.